Hey, this is a video response to Mrs. Macaulay Maxton video, the Fema internment camps homeland station GIs. And first I wanted to say, Mrs. Macaulay Maxton, I like your channel. It's great. I'm glad I found you today, and I subscribed, so thanks. Keep putting them out. My answer to your first question, what are the FEMA camps and all that sorted stuff going to be used for? And you know, it's kind of one of those questions, like if you look historically at other nations who have set these kinds of things up, it's not going to be used for anything good. Probably you know, essentially criminalizing dissension, criminalizing free speech, and you gotta have a place to put, you know, all these people, work camps, you know, things like that. America's been steadily moving in some pretty bad directions as far as, you know, reaching fascism or you know, police statism. And you know, there's arguments on both sides of that. People will say that that's not happening, although it's funny because, you know, I think the argument for most people who disagree is that that could never happen in America, and the reality is that can happen anywhere. If the people let their guard down, liberty is lost. That's the way that works. So that's what I think about that. Now, as far as the Homeland Station GIs go, you know, I was just watching a video, and actually I think it's a related video to yours, where Amy Goodman is talking to the general, I believe, who's in charge of Northcom, Northern Command of Defense, and she also has I think Mike Rothschild on there as kind of, you know, somebody who's opposing this, and I think a lot of people oppose it. I mean, it's strange on the news. They always kind of pick the noob who's like, you know, oh man, this is great. You know, we got troops at home now. And, like, they just have no idea. But it's very, very dangerous to have a standing army inside the United States, especially if it does not answer to a state or the people of a state. And actually, there is an article in the Constitution which, you know, talks about how a militia is necessary to maintain the freedom of a state. And when you start seeing standing armies inside of the states, the 50 states, that are controlled by the District of Columbia, which is not a state, and is controlled by the federal government, which is not a state, you know, that's a pretty clear indication that we're right on the edge of some pretty big changes as to what we have come to believe is the American character. Now, you know, I could be completely wrong, but again, you know, if you look at history, if you're a student of history, if you look at governments and how they operate and where they go, what happens to them over time, we're pretty much seeing a playing out of what occurs towards the end of any empire. You know, the economy starts to falter, the monetary system begins to collapse. You have you know, your military is spread out too thin across the world, trying to maintain a large empire, and you know, obviously the empire drains the resources of the nations that it has invaded, and also of other nations that it's trading with, because it has military might that it's claiming is its you know, it bears it the right to get better deals, and to borrow money and borrow resources and things like this. And of course, during times like that, you know, when people start to dissent and people start to revolt, and you start to see massive discontent in the populace, the governments always turn to, police state measures. Sometimes it's like, Rome, where you have standing armies, and of course they had problems because the nations that they were empires against, raised armies against Rome. Or you end up with things like Nazi Germany, where, the police state and the secret police, kind of run the people and make sure that nothing changes, irrespective of, how much of a banana republic it's become or how much of a fascist state it's become. Same's true of the Soviet Union. We're also kind of in a really unique time in the sense that access to information by the populace and also by the governments has never been this great. We literally are sharing information at such a high rate of speed and across such a broad terrain that is going to play out very big in what's coming. We the people have an amazing tool and amazing set of weapons at our disposal, just by value of the internet and by access, via cellular networks and wireless networks and things like that. So there's going to be a completely different battlefield, if you will. Of course, the same's true on government side, and you see that a lot. Propaganda being the tool that it is. Well, government's slow, and that's great. It's a very good thing right now because they're still relying very much on television, and a lot of people who are in the know and who have kind of seen this coming for a while have switched off from television. They don't buy it anymore. They see it for the machine that it is, and they no longer want to be that affected by something that they're not proactively involved in. And so we'll see if the government, ends up making the propaganda tool of the internet and this information access the way that they were able to do with internet and radio. We kind of have a leg up on them as far as that goes, as just the technology people. We're more involved in that, the creation of it and the spreading of it is definitely a citizen-driven expansion of technology. So yeah, that's my answer to your questions, and Viva la Revolution, man. I hope to see you when it all goes down. Bye.